with the Pelicans trading for Jordan Poole along with Sadiq Bey and the 40th pick in this draft. And let me see who they used to who they selected with the 40th overall pick so I can have him in this trade. Micah Peavy, that's who they selected with the 40th pick. And then the Wizards get CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second round pick here. So for Washington, I really love this move for the Washington Wizards. I think that the Jordan Poole experiment or whatever you want to call it just wasn't working. Just wasn't working there for a couple of seasons. And now they've done a great job, in my opinion, of bringing in a bunch of young guys. I already mentioned the defensive guys. Last draft, they got Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, and throughout the last calendar year they've brought in a bunch of veterans, experienced guys that can help mentor these younger players. Like at the trade deadline, they got Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton in different trades, and in this trade, they get C.J. McCollum and Kelly Olynyk. Those are four quality veterans that can still play. In this league, like C.J. McCollum is still a good player, but they're more so there for that veteran leadership and also there to clear up some cap space in next summer, where the Wizards are projected to have $100 million in cap space in 2026. But Ben, what were your thoughts on this trade and their decisions here in the draft now that this trade has been made?
I agree with you on the trade for the Wizards. I really like it for Washington. It was time to move on for Jordan Poole. Big contract, just wasn't, you know, playing great. Was playing like what the Wizards were totally hoping for out of Jordan Poole. So it's a good time to move on, and they got a good return back because CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk, I know they're older guys, but they aren't on bad contracts, and they can maybe flip them for something good eventually in the future. And if they, play, for the Wizards, to start this season, McCollum, he could be a good veteran leader for those young guys in there. Um, that's for sure. That could really help the development of some of these young guys on the team, like Trey Johnson, who's a young, guard in there that they just drafted, and same with Bub Carrington and Alex Sarb, veterans could help those guys just develop even more.
Yeah, I absolutely think the Wizards have had a excellent 2025 with I honestly think it's gone about as well as they could have had with the cards that they have been dealt. I mean, obviously they would have loved to be the team that jumped up and got Cooper Flag at number 1. They didn't. So they were able to get the best player available at pick number 6. So and make these trades and mix in the vets and the young guys as well. So I absolutely love what the Wizards have been doing. So shout out to the Washington Wizards, man. I'm excited to see how those guys fit in with that team. But now, look, for all 6 of these picks so far, we've been pretty happy and excited about the moves that these 6 teams have made. Now we've got some questionable decisions here that we're going to talk about here, starting off with the New Orleans Pelicans, who, of course, made this trade the day of the draft, getting Jordan Poole from Washington for CJ McCollum, a younger guy, but still someone that is under contract for a little bit, along with Sadiq Bey and Micah Peavy. And then after trading for Jordan Poole, a point guard, they drafted one with the 7th overall pick, drafting Jeremiah Fears at the 7th overall pick. Then later on, they traded up from the 23rd pick with the Atlanta Hawks to get the 13th pick, where they selected Derek Queen. Now that's not okay. That may not be bad. That may not be bad. But what they gave up the 23rd overall pick to Atlanta, and the unprotected 2026 first round pick, which is the best of the Milwaukee Bucks and the New Orleans Pelicans, two of the most questionable teams heading into next season. Whichever team has the better draft pick next season in the first round Go straight to the Atlanta Hawks, and we're gonna get into the Hawks because they've had a terrific last couple days. But Ben, what is going on in New Orleans? Because I do not know.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got a new GM there that I guess but might be kind of struggling to start here.
Yeah, look, Joe Dumars is not off to a great second tenure as a GM
No,
in the league. Let's just say that.
no, yeah, that trade you just mentioned where they got the 13th pick, they ended up selecting Derek Quinn. Yeah, it's just a head scratching trade. It was a bad trade. Yeah, you should have given up that first round pick, and I mean, you could have even drafted somebody solid for your future if you kept pick 23. I mean, there's still good players left on the board at, at pick 23. Um, yeah, I don't get it, and I don't like Derek Queen's fit the best there. I mean, I don't really think he'll be a great defender to start off with, but I mean, better offensively. I mean, he did look great offensively at Maryland. He was great at getting to the basket offensively at Maryland. But I mean, his outside shooting can still use some work. Yeah, it's kind of questionable. I mean, me personally, I would have liked Common Valley Watch on this team a lot. That's who I wish they just drafted at pick 7, and then they wouldn't have had to have done this. I mean, Valley Watch
Right.
would have brought some good defense to the front court. While you still had Yves Missy, I mean, who looked like a good scorer as a setter, his rookie year. And, Valley Watch would have made a nice impact around the painted area there, brought good height. I mean, Jeremiah Fears, could be good for them in the future, especially if Jordan Poole or DeJounte Murray don't really pan out. But I mean, it's kind of not really the best situation for Jeremiah Fears to start off with. But yeah, I didn't think their draft pick at pick 7 was the best, and I'm not really a big fan of them having Jordan Poole on their team. I did not love the trade that they made with giving up McCollum and Olenek and then getting back like Jordan Poole, then like Sadiq Bey, who could be a good bench player for them, but it's gonna be behind already some good wing players and Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion, and I just don't really think Jordan Poole would fit the best in a backcourt with DeJounte Murray. They're both gonna be wanting the ball. Same with Zion. It's just head scratching what they've done recently.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Jordan Poole trade, I wasn't the most sure of it either. I guess you go younger and McCollum is on an expiring contract, so if you wanted to treat I mean, instead of losing him for nothing, you get a guy that is coming off of a good year for Washington, a pretty good bounce back, for Jordan Poole. But just the reason we were saying he doesn't really fit there in Washington is just because him being a number one guy or even being a veteran leader kind of is just not the move for a rebuilding team like the Washington Wizards. And this is a New Orleans team that's coming off of a brutal year because of injury, but they are a very talented team on paper when you look at it. They've got Jordan Poole. The starting five is probably going to be Jordan Poole at the 1, Herb Jones at the 2, Trey Murphy at the 3, Zion at the 4, and Misi at the 5. That is really talented. And of course, Zion, he's the big question mark and the key to this whole thing because when he's on the court, he's an incredible player. He's just not on the court a whole lot. But that's just a starting five. Now your backup unit can be DeJounte Murray when he comes back from injury. Maybe he still starts. You just don't know with the Achilles injury or ACL injury. Now you still have Jose Alvarado. You just drafted Fear. So now you have 4 point guards, by the way. And then along with that, you still have let me find the rest of the team. Of course, now you have Sadiq Bey. You have Jordan Hawkins on that team. You have guys that got extra minutes because of injuries last year, like Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Carlo Matkovich. So it's a very, very talented team. You know, trading away that first round pick though is just so mind-boggling to me because again, this is the best of Milwaukee or New Orleans' first round pick in 2026. And basically what the Pelicans are doing here is they're putting in a ton of trust in Zion Williamson, who is one of the most untrusting superstars in the league. And that's nothing against his on-court value or play. He just cannot stay healthy enough for there to be much value. I mean, let's see, 6 years ago in the NBA draft, we're looking at Zion as being the prospect, one of the best prospects in the draft in a number of years. 6 years later, he's played in 214 career games in 6 seasons. He's only played over 65 games in 1 year, and he hasn't played in a playoff game in 6 years. And you are putting your trust to give away your first round pick, most likely your first round pick, unless Milwaukee and Giannis, they have a bad year. Um, it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense what they are doing here because even if everyone is healthy, Ben, this is a loaded Western Conference. I mean, at the best, they might still be a playing team that loses in one of those first 2 games, and boom, there's still a lottery pick. And what if that jumps up like Dallas's does this year, and you just gave up a number 1 pick for Derek Queen? So all I know is that Derek Queen better be the real deal at pick 13 because if not, this was a disaster of a trade. This was a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, boy, I guess New Orleans is, I guess, really relying on like the high praise that they've heard from a Derek Quinn. I mean, their head coach, who was just recently the head coach at Maryland, did say some super good things about him. Maybe the Pelicans just talked to him and trusted in him or something. I don't know. I just think the fit's gonna be kind of weird there with Derek Queen. I'm not loving it, that's for sure. But Derek Queen's really gonna have to prove me wrong for me to come back to it and be like, okay, I guess the Pelicans were right here.